I think there's this classical example of a composer sitting at a piano, searching for that perfect chord, a couple of notes to get started on the piece. Ah, there it is, that's the way in. But as it turns out, that's not at all the way I compose. For me, the most important part of a piece is the structure, the architecture of the piece. It's often been said that architecture is frozen music, and I actually feel the same way that music is frozen architecture. That everything that happens successfully within a piece is because of the way it's built. To write a piece, what I do is I begin drawing what I call the emotional architecture. And I started almost as a style sheet here. You can see this round spinning ball in the middle here, this kind of Pokeball Death Star thing. I'm playing with the Fibonacci sequence on the sides when my mind starts to wander. What I'm looking for is the big structure, the emotional journey that I want the audience to take and the players to take. I did the same thing for Deep Field. With Deep Field, I knew that I wanted the structure to go out of focus, in focus, but ultimately climax as the piece is fully in focus, as the Deep Field image is in focus, and then come back down. And this emotional architecture here is the way that I want the audience to feel as they get to the top of it. Once I've got that emotional architecture down then, it's very much like building a cathedral or a house. The structure is sound and solid, the bones of it work, and then the melody, the music is almost secondary. That stuff then is more like dressing the inside of a room. It's the wallpaper, and it's the paint, and it's the furniture. It's essential to making the whole thing work. If the structure is sound, if the piece holds, is strong, then what we do is we go in and we start to design the inside of our rooms, of the cathedral walls. And in this way, what we do is we go directly to lessons from architecture and engineering. I often do what they call in architecture echoing. And you'll see echoing all the time. You know, maybe a fleur-de-lis pattern that's on the carpet matches fleur-de-lis in the stained glass windows. So I do the same thing. I find a little musical motive that I call the golden brick. And the golden brick is just a few notes or a chord, and it has all the DNA inside of it that can be extrapolated to these larger repeating fractal structures, echoing across the music. Big scale, small scale, but the same basic material that just gets used over and over and over. Composers have been doing this for centuries. Bach is an absolute master at this kind of writing, and I try to emulate it as well. Again, it's not because I think that when you hear the piece, you hear necessarily all of these structures, big and small, long and short. You feel it. That intuitive pattern-seeking part of your brain just knows that it's right.